Hello, everyone, and welcome to this review of Unit 5. We're going to go over three things corresponding to the three things that you will see in the Unit 5 assessment. If you don't want to watch all of this, of course, you can just skip ahead to the part that you need. We're going to start off with just an overview of what congruent shapes are. Of course, congruent shapes are two shapes that are the exact same size and shape. So to look at two quick examples right here, we have four triangles on this page. And just looking at them, we can see that this blue triangle and this purple triangle, they're probably congruent. They look like they're the same size, the same shape. We don't know for sure if they're congruent, but they definitely look congruent to me. On the other hand, we've got these green triangles down at the bottom, and they are definitely not congruent, right? This darker green triangle on the left is much smaller than this light green triangle on the right. And so we know that these two shapes are not congruent because they're not the exact same size. Remember, to be congruent, two things have to be the exact same size and the exact same shape. So that's a lot of these problems. It's just looking at two things and saying, do they look like they're the same size and shape? If yes, explain how you know. If no, explain why they're not. Now we're going to look at a second example. Because we know that congruent shapes are the exact same size, we can actually use that to figure out a lot of information about them. For example, let's say you had a problem where you saw these two triangles and you were told they are congruent. So now you know for sure that these two triangles are the exact same shape. What are you going to do? Well, great question. What you can do and what you'd probably be asked to do is figure out what x is. And this is actually not nearly as hard as you might think. The first step is just noticing which side of the blue triangle corresponds with this side of the green triangle. You want to find the side that matches, that corresponds with 2x plus 3. And that, of course, is this side 17 centimeters. You got to be careful because sometimes triangles will be flipped around. They won't be in the exact same orientation, but you can usually tell which two sides match. Then all you have to do is write an equation. 2x plus 3 equals 17. And you can do that because you know these two shapes are congruent. That means they're the exact same size. That means if this side is 17 centimeters long, this side of the green triangle also has to be 17 centimeters long, which means they're equal. So once you've first matched them up and then second written your equation, all that's left to do is some algebra. In this case, we just need to subtract 3 from both sides, which leaves us with 2x equals 14. And then we will divide by 2, and find that x is equal to 7. If you can't do all the algebra, but you get this part, you're going to get most of the credit for the problem. And there's lots of videos out there that explain how to do problems like this, where you're solving an equation. So that's another kind of congruent triangle problem. All right, and finally, we have congruency criteria. This is probably one of the trickiest things we've seen just because it's so different than a lot of what we've done before. So what's important to know is that we actually have 4 different congruency criteria, and I'll write them on the side here. We've got SSS, which stands for side, side, side. We have SAS, which stands for side, angle, side. The A always stands for angle, the S always for side. ASA, angle, side, angle, and AAS, angle, angle, side. Now, you'll remember that I was talking about how for two triangles to be congruent, all of the sides and angles should match. But a lot of the times, we don't want to check all of those things. For example, we might want to know whether these two blue triangles are congruent, and the only way we can figure that out is if we have a shortcut, because we don't have a way of figuring out the extra sides and angles. So how would we do that? Well, you want to look for the matching pieces of information that are equal in both triangles. So number 1, this triangle is 14 centimeters. This triangle is 14 centimeters on that side. So there's at least one matching side. Then you do the same with angles. This 85-degree angle is equal to this 85-degree angle. That's a matching angle. And we have another matching angle, this 35-degree and this 35-degree. So one matching side, two matching angles that are all equal. This allows us to use the shortcut AAS. So angle, side. And this shortcut tells us that because two angles match and one side, a side that was not in between the two angles matches, we know these two triangles are congruent. So if the question asked, are these triangles congruent? You would say, yes, they are congruent. And you could say, I know because of angle, side, AAS. I hope that's helpful. Of course, if you have questions, you can always email me or leave a comment in Google Classroom. Have a great day. Goodbye.